My husband, Monty, was murdered April 18th, 1983. It was a convenience store robbery in Mount Healthy, Ohio. Monty was an employee of Procter & Gamble, but was always somebody who felt the family needed more money and would always moonlight. And rather than working in the hospitals like he usually did, he came home from the store one day and said, "They want help, so I think I'm just going to go and work for a few months." And it was a couple blocks from our house. That was in January, and on April 18th, actually April 17th, 3 men came into the store, robbed the store, robbed Monty, stabbed him to death. And for no reason, actually. Monty was able to get to a phone outside of the building and call me. I was the first one he called.
My brother, Howard Levy, he was 40 years old, married, 2 kids, master's degree, and every Sunday for over 10 years he would go play basketball with a group of his friends at a Central Phoenix basketball court. And one November morning in November 3rd, 1996, he got there a little bit early and was sitting in the car reading the newspaper, waiting for his friends to show up, and 2 unknown to him gang members walked up and shot him point blank and threw him out of the car and took the car 3 blocks. He was a father of a 9-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son, and he was taken. Basically, they didn't take his wallet and they just wanted his car.
911, what's the nature of your emergency?
Facing the death of a loved one is never easy. When a murder takes place, the anger, pain, and grief are compounded by the realization that another person took the life of someone precious. Murder is a dimension of cruelty that destroys more than the life of a human being. For surviving loved ones, it disrupts all previous life patterns, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, as well as hopes and dreams for the future. The constant struggle to survive and reconstruct their lives become a major part of everyday living. For many, it becomes a struggle with no end.
I identify greatly with parents of murdered children. I'm a crime victim myself. I rarely discuss it on air or in interviews because, as most crime victims know, it's a very sensitive issue. Many years ago, shortly before my wedding, my fiance was murdered in an act of random violence. And that changed my life and the course of my life. And I'm very proud to speak out on behalf of victims, crime victims. And so often the word victim has some bad connotation, but that is what we are. And that is the battle that we are fighting. And I hope very deeply that I can help in some way.
Parents of Murdered Children helps people through this struggle and is the only nationwide organization dedicated to the aftermath and prevention of murder. Robert and Charlotte Hullinger founded Parents of Murdered Children in 1978, following the murder of their daughter Lisa. From its birth, Parents of Murdered Children has expanded to include other family members, friends, co-workers, and anyone who is struggling to survive a death caused by violence. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, the organization has chapters across the United States, providing assistance and support to more than 100,000 survivors each year. In addition to support group meetings, crisis intervention, advocacy, and guidance, Parents of Murdered Children provides a number of programs specifically designed to meet the needs of survivors of homicide victims. Parents of Murdered Children Parole Block Program has been extremely successful in keeping convicted murderers behind bars for their minimum sentences. Since the inception of the Parole Block Program, the early release of more than 1 murderer a week is prevented, protecting society from possible repeat offenders. For cases that are unsolved or complicated, Parents of murdered children's second opinion services may be able to help. Volunteer experts in the medical, law enforcement, and investigative fields review reports and other evidence in an effort to provide answers to survivors' questions. Several reviews have led to convictions. The National Murder Wall, honoring their memory, pays tribute to those loved ones whose lives have been taken. It is a quiet place to reflect upon the memories of happier times, a time before the pain. The traveling wall cries out for the need to stop the violence. Annually, the National Parents of Murdered Children's Conference brings together survivors for a weekend of workshops, motivational speakers, sharing, and interacting. It is an opportunity for survivors nationwide to meet, learn, and grow. The Parents of Murdered Children website provides valuable information on the organization's services, programs, and survivor support network. Parents of murdered children are making a difference through ongoing emotional support, education, prevention, advocacy, and awareness.